Hello, this is Robert Cockfield, and this is Keith Wonderboy Johnson. No, it's Keith Carrington, man. I just gave him a new name. Now check this out. For the next 30 minutes, we want to talk about deflecting in a relationship. Deflecting. Now, what do we mean by that? It's a defense mechanism by which you find yourself feeling one way, and then you adopt this attitude or this way of um, not really getting to what really is going on, right? So instead of you getting to the point of what really is going on, you make it about something else. That's just simple. So I'm gonna start off with this. The reason why I thought about this was because my whole entire life until recently, I realized I've been deflecting. And I'm gonna tell you why, what that means. So when you come out of an abusive home, you've been on drugs, you've been molested, you've been alcoholic, you've and you're in environments that are very harsh, you are deflect. Why? Because multiplicity reasons. It could be like when I was coming up in our household, in our environment, we was told you when you go to church, one way, and then when you come home, home was not what we acted like when we was at church. Or you get people to tell you that your parents would say, now you better be on your best behavior when you're around such and such, knowing good and well that that's not what really going on, you know,
Mm.
at the crib or in your marriage. you know y'all getting an argument about something, but you know doggone well it ain't got nothing to do with y'all getting an argument about. And then so what ends up happening, things or feelings that you have, they buried, and then sooner or later they spill over, and then it turns into something else. And that's deflecting. And I just use myself as an example, Keith. I just wanted to start off with that so everybody understand what we're talking about. So Keith, I'm gonna ask this: like, have you ever deflected in your relationships? Any of them? In any relationship that you ever had?
Um, I'm pretty sure that I have. That's not too much of my characteristics. The reason I say is that because, especially later in my life, I found myself really trying hard to prove more so that I was right because I was always giving in to what other people, expected expectations or trying to avoid the sake of argument, getting frustrated when I do see somebody deflecting, because it can be very frustrating, you know, especially if you're the type of person that's been open about your failures or downfalls. I, I won't say that I never done it though, but that's not something that I can say that I've done quite often because I mean you're gonna have those that do and don't. Just like I always say, you got givers and takers. You're gonna always have the I think sometimes I may say too much. I may tell too much. You know, tell too much just for the sake of comfort of making myself feel comfortable with being right. Especially after um, feeling like you growing up in an atmosphere where you felt like you was wrong about a lot of stuff or been told that you was wrong or won't go amount to nothing and stuff like that. So you get to a place where you take pride in wanting to be right about a lot of things, and sometimes even in that can have people look at you in a certain way.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know when we deflect, we avoid responsibilities, and it's not a bad thing all the time. And I think we take it wrong. Like, why are you trying to hide somewhere? Why, like you said, it may be I don't want to get in an argument with you, or it may be
Hmm.
at the time I don't know how to process what I really should probably say to you. So we talked about this last week. I'm gonna say something I ain't got no business, or I'm gonna do something that just is not right, or you know, right now I'm avoiding conflict and or confrontation because the way I feel, or maybe my mental health is not where it ought to be. And I think that if you're not careful with that, people just, if you're trying to, you deflect because you're trying to get them an opportunity and chance to back off. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, you ever done that? I know I have.
And I'm also not deflect to do that, but I understand what you're saying. My tendency is more so to shut down. I shut down and won't talk. I could always used to say it was a gift. I could cut somebody off. I could be in the same atmosphere, room, and everything, and just act like they don't even exist. And that's not good, especially in a relationship. Women thrive off of communication. Most women, anyway. And like you said, for the sake of maybe not saying something that you know you're not going to be able to take back, or doing something, I shut down and get quiet. Now, not out of fear, maybe fear of what I may say, not knowing the right thing, because the average woman can outtalk a man. And so, especially when it comes into arguing, and they'll say some stuff that have you thinking and scratching your head, wondering, is she really right about what she's saying? So I'm also shut down and just stop speaking. I won't, and I do have to get better at that.
Yeah, because with that, you start off wanting to be honest at first, right? And then you start making excuses. You might even play the blame game. You might find yourself, I didn't mean to hurt you, or it wasn't my fault, or maybe it's my fault and it wasn't your fault. That's deflecting. And I do it because sometimes I just don't want to feel vulnerable, and I think deflecting, that vulnerability can be, it's like, I don't want you to see me vulnerable, or I don't want to admit that I've done something wrong, or it could be that I know you wrong, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. Like so sometimes in deflecting, we'll take responsibility for stuff that it's not even ours. It's just, we just, for the sake or the essence of just not wanting to, cause no ruckus and to preserve the relationship. I'm just gonna say something. What was you gonna say?
And as men, I honestly think that we need to show our vulnerability more often than what we do. Growing up, a lot of times it's presented that's a sign of weakness.
Right. Yep.
But the truth of the matter is, as you get older and wiser, you realize it's more of a sign of strength, maturity, and at times can be wisdom. For the sake of the salvation of a relationship or friendship, because people aren't mind readers and they don't know how you feel, what you've been, dealing with. A lot of times we respond off of something that we're dealing with that person has no clue about.
Right.
And they'll think that our response is directed towards them, because for the sake of pride and concealing being vulnerable, we'll let them continue to go on thinking like that.
Well,
yeah.
And I'm gonna use this word that describes what you just said, right? Which is called gaslighting in relationships, right? That's when someone make you feel crazy or paranoid, or they tell you that you're imagining things, or you're making too much of this, or but there's nothing imaginary. It's real, and it's because we don't really want to see what's exactly going on, or it's perceptions that other people have injected in the relationship, or even in that person who is doing the gaslighting, making you think, okay, man, you crazy. Oh, you.
And that part I can't stand. I really have I want to say hatred. That may be a little too extreme, but it's close to it. It's right on the line of it. But I really have when somebody, like you say, try to gaslight or deflect or put something on you, I don't know, for the sake of I don't know what to say, but basically more so, I feel a lot of times they're doing it to deflect from what they're actually doing.
Yep. And how they feel.
So they'll try to put things on you and make you feel guilty as though you're doing what they're doing.
Right.
So you won't catch the reality of that this is actually what you're doing. Or they'll realize that you know that they're doing it, so they're projecting on you first before you get a chance to put it on them.
All right, and this to lend credence to what you're saying. This is what I try to get people to understand, right? So your head and your heart can be one place, and you physically can be right there with me, or vice versa, and then we blatantly lie to each other, but because we refuse to admit like we try to minimize how we feel, or suggesting that, we blowing things out of proportion, or rewriting, or implying things that didn't happen, or trying to discredit and suggest some perceptions about nothing. Like, oh, you can't be trusted. I this is my new thing now, right? If you tell me you don't trust me, don't. I'm serious. I know that sounds cold. It sounds harsh. Don't trust me. Trust Jesus. Trust God. Trust your
Yeah.
friends.
Hey.
Don't trust me then. I don't, because I was in therapy, right? My therapist helped me out with this. That joker said, he said, man, if somebody come to you with that, tell them don't trust you. He said, because that takes too much. It's a lot of work. That makes sense, or
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm not gonna waste and burn unnecessary energy trying to prove something to you, or trying to prove to you that I'm this particular, and a lot of times it's trying to prove it to a person that should already know you.
Well, when we say we know each other.
Now, if it's somebody that don't know me, I could care less whether you trust me or believe me or not. It doesn't even matter. I don't lose no sleep, no nothing behind that. So, but if it's somebody that you've been spending time with, that you've been around, whether friend or relationships, and the reason I say that is because when a person knows you and know your character, then apparently, if I've been around you that long and know that I can't trust you, it's something within me to even keep dealing with you.
Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. When we tell people, we say that's part of gaslighting, right? I read up on this. So, first of all, I'm gonna always be paranoid, or be. You can make a person act crazy when you say, "I don't trust you." Okay, don't. Now, here's the thing. Say you do know me, and okay, there are some things in my content and character don't line up, or you already know I'm lying, I'm wrong, or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is, man. But at the end of the day, knowing a person is knowing both sides of the fence, like the good and the bad. That's my point. So why are we sitting up here acting as if that's a one-sided aspect of a relationship? No, the Bible even says we all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. We all got stuff going on. So why spending more time trying to prove what, when you trying to work out your soul and salvation, or work out things in your life, or what? We all got some stuff going on. So the point the therapist was trying to make was, and the point I'm making, and I'm saying this, listen, I'm saying this to everybody that's listening to me. Men, get this in your head. It's ridiculous. Don't do it. Man, you never. What ends up happening is you spend more time trying to prove what, and then things get said that are being tested all the time. It's like, well, let me see if, and two, I've learned in this process, just silence and get the word in you, man. Like, I'm just learning to be quiet, Keith, instead of gaslighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, why even try to imagine what she doing, or what they doing, or what they, no. What God's showing, you better be worrying about what you're supposed to be doing, or you're going to go to hell with gasoline on your drawers. Ain't work. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go straight to hell because you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You supposed to, everybody have to say what they doing. And then, dude, you ain't done nothing. You ain't spent your dash empty, you empty. Then again, I use this a lot now. Like, I'm not going to waste. I'm not going to deplete myself to complete you, or I'm not going to compete with others in your life to complete me. I'm just not doing it. I've learned.
No, definitely not.
That's that gaslighting. Go ahead, Keith. Go ahead, cause man, boy, you got me.
No, definitely not. Yeah, you got a lot on to get off your chest today, but yeah, but that all of that goes back to something I've been saying for a while, and I think I mentioned it the last time we were talking. Is basically knowing the character of the person that you're dealing with. That, to me, that is so vital. The reason why is when I was younger, and my mom would go out to the school, because oftentimes I would get accused. Sometimes you do so much that the teachers will accuse you of some of the smallest things, because you was always known for doing stuff, getting in trouble. But one thing I liked and learned was that my mom wasn't the type of person that would always, oh no, that's not my son. He's a good child, this and that. No. She knew me so much that she could determine and discern whether, oh, yeah, I can see Keith doing that, or no, my son ain't do that. And she wasn't doing it to overlook wrong and take my side because I was her son. She did it because she knew her son.
Yeah.
She knew the character of her son. She knew the things that he was capable of doing and the things that he wouldn't do. You know? And so that stuck with me to today, that you need to learn the character of a person. You have so many friendships, relationships, business relationships fall out for the simple fact. Matter of fact, you could have somebody come and talk to me. Somebody could come and talk to me about you. I should know your character from the years of being around you and knowing you, that I could kind of distinguish. Yeah, that's something like Rob would do or say, compared to just being quiet and looking at them. Because now you saying something that's totally out of the characteristic of him, that now you got me looking at you in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do that. A lot of times, you know, we're so quick to want to entertain gospel, and we look forward to taking in on a lie than we would the truth.
And guess what? Okay. Now I'm gonna go even further, Keith. What if I did do something crazy, and they said, man, that Cockfield, you know, and I've gotten to the point. What if it's true? Okay, I'm like, but what is the point of this conversation? Because see, we entertain things, and this was getting me. I'm finally figuring this out. Other people get a pass; they get grace and mercy for their craziness. And then if you have an issue or beef with somebody and you really haven't forgiven them, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna deflect. So check this out. You're gonna reflect, then you're gonna deflect, and then it's gonna turn into conflict, and it's never gonna stop, because the whole point of that exercise is this: how come we give other people passes, and then we turn around, people that we really are close to or people that we really got a beef with? It could just be so-called friends or whatever, and there's certain people we just got to have a problem with. And then these other jokers that's in your space and place, you get them a pass. No, what they're telling me is that's why this deflection. Like we really don't.
The difference is in respect.
Right. It is.
Some people hang on and cling to you because of what you offer and what they can get out of you, but they don't respect you compared to a person that they respect, value, and look up to. Yep. And that's the difference.
And that's sad, because now
it is.
Yeah, because I've gotten to the point. Okay, so you don't hit, and this sounds cold. You don't have to respect me, and I don't have to respect you. Matter of fact, I tell you what, I don't have to do nothing. I just don't. Life's too short. Yeah. Two people who are creations trying to act like a creator. We don't have power over nothing, man. Nothing. I've been thinking about this over and over every day. So when I get up, I read my word, and then I'm like, okay, what do I own, God? Nothing. Zero. I don't own nothing. Like, if you right now, Keith, this might save a man's life. More people are dead today because they cannot do what Kenny Rogers said. Know when to hold them, fold them, walk away, and when to run. Right? Think about it. Like, you might, right now, I might make you mad, or I do something that offends you, right? And then I had to really think about this. I own nothing on this earth. So what makes me think that I can change you as a person about how you feel about me, or anything that you even might try to do to me? I can't. I ain't God. I don't have that right. I can't. So you can tell me, man, I hate you. Man, I can't stand you. You know what? I don't want to talk to you. I don't. And you know what? God is showing me. And what you gonna do? I'm the only one who can do that work. You can't do it.
You know what I had to learn in situations like that? it used to rub me the wrong way, but I had to actually learn that that's your problem. That's something you got to deal with and live with. I can't live and thrive off of how you feel pertaining to me. That's an issue you got to deal with.
Yes.
You know, we waste too much time and energy trying to prove ourselves to people that's not deserving of it.
Yeah.
That's not worthy of it.
Well, and here,
You can share that energy with the same people that's reciprocating that same type of energy towards you.
right, and it's true. But here's where again we go wrong, because what we talked about earlier, turn around and let me throw this out here. People start playing the victim, right? And that's a harmful manipulation tactic, right? Used in relationships, right? It make you feel like no matter what, it's always your fault. And that stuff, man, that ain't got old. You know, it's like, man, uh, I'm deflecting and you done something wrong. And then they play the victim. And then they say, okay, you're responsible for me having to shut down or, be this way. And, and all of a sudden statements, they become oversensitive or claims of unfairness. And then the next thing you know, you start complaining and laying blame unjustly on people or justly.
Look,
And so we spend more
perfect.
time. Great.
Look, perfect example. I was looking at something on social media. I don't know how much truth it had to it. The guy walked in the room and was recording his girl, and I guess he was basically letting her know that, hey, he caught her in a lie. He was like, hey, who you been messing around with? Who you pregnant by? It couldn't have been by me because I wouldn't have had a vasectomy. Instead of her saying that I'm not pregnant or I wasn't messing around, she flipped the whole script and made the whole conversation about him having a vasectomy behind her back.
Wow.
It was like angry, like, how could you do that? How could you do that? You never addressed the initial question, the initial problem to the conversation.
Nope.
You're pregnant and it ain't mine.
Right.
Me having a vasectomy, I mean, yeah, I kept it to myself, but I didn't cheat on you. I didn't lie to you. I just ain't tell you about it.
Wow.
But yet it was made to look like, or it was presented as though he was the one that was in it wrong.
Right. And you know what? And this is crazy. This is what you just said. Just hypothetically, say that was true. And the person was pregnant, right? Why did they deflect? So there we go. Because relationships is hard work, man. It's one of those things where if I play the victim card, do we ever think what tightrope we put that person in? Like because now, see what happened? Now she flipped that on him. That's a tightrope. So now he like, wait, hold up. Now he's trying to figure out, well, what I do? I mean, wait a minute, hold up. And that causes uncertainty or confusion, because then it's like, well, man, so I was wrong for not telling you. But wait a minute, but you did wrong too. It's one of those things where it's kind of leaves you wondering, how can you even help one another best, or what's the best thing? And my thing is, it comes a point when you just gotta say, blame. Why are we just blaming each other for stuff instead of just realizing, okay, none of this is perfect? I think at this age, it's like, try to find what works. I don't care, out of 100, it's 10. If this 10% works in our relationship, just work with that 10, man. Nothing's gonna never be the same. And I think we don't want to own that. That's why we deflect. See, we'll get people in our heads and they'll say, man, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't, blah, 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 blah. But you ain't the one who got to deal with it. And so now I'm at a point. Okay, what you want me to do? I don't, it's hard work. It ain't nothing easy. So can we like find what works? And that's in any relationship. Now I'm starting to get smart. I'm like, I don't care if it's you, the Pope, the pastor, the priest. And we all do that, man. Life would be great, but it's not cool when I would rather try to find the 80% that's wrong with you instead of the 10% that works in our relationship, and just work off that 10 and be cool with it. Just say, you know what? I'm cool with that 10, man, with this cat. It was and I'm gonna have you answer. It was a pastor. I went to church service and 2 more in Kansas City this past Sunday. And this bishop, he had cancer 3 times, Keith, and he made it. And he was just, expressing. He was like, now relationships are valuable. He said, I almost died 3 times. And he said, I don't have no time to be playing around with God, and I don't have no time to be playing around with people that don't want to accept the fact that I need God. Like, I need all the guys. So the point was, he was like, dude, like, he sees his friends different, his relationships different. He's like, you know what? Everybody not the same. So I ain't cookie cutting them jokers. Nobody ain't on, instead of me trying to find fault in people and do all that stuff, whatever. He said, man, I now look at people and like, okay, what works and what don't? And then let's work with what works. And then the stuff that don't work, we'll leave that alone in the relationship. But my point is, he ain't throwing people out in the trash and you suck. Yeah. I don't want nothing to do with you. No, nah, he matured because life is short. You can't get it back. I don't know if
I don't wish it on nobody, but I believe that a lot of people haven't experienced, in a sense, a near-death experience to really place value on life. They place higher value on materialism, materialistic things than it would on the life of a person. I heard somebody talking about life and money, and they asked the person about I forgot how it went. They asked them about something about $1 million, and would they do something for $1 million? And I was like, oh yeah, shoot, yeah, And then they say, well, let me ask you this. They say, how about I give you $10 million?
Wow.
But you have to die tomorrow.
Oh.
Dude was like, oh no. He was like, so life really is that important, huh? You can't place a value on it, because at the end of the day, you will sit here and try to chase this so-called bag that everybody's talking about these days. Oh, I got to get that bag. I got to get this. You know what I'm saying? But you can die the next day and somebody else enjoy that bag that you work hard to get.
Yeah. And
people lost value in wanting to just enjoy life. It was times that I was. You don't have to always be rich or have the bag in it per se to enjoy life. That's 2 different things. Having the bag and enjoy life is 2 different things. Even if you can't afford to go to some of the best places out here that's expensive, I mean, just being able to take a nice long cruise, to be able to see scenery, be able to see the ocean, the river and stuff. I had somebody, before I actually moved to Texas, I had somebody to fly out from Texas to Virginia to see me. And I had took them riding, they had, just the thought of that they had never even been through a tunnel or seen the ocean and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing people, moving here and experiencing people that seen snow for the first time in their lives, kids seeing snow for the first time, stuff that we see yearly back at home, and maybe just take it for granted. Oh, just another that season, There's so much things that that we take for granted. That's part of life that don't require the bag. I grew up having access to the ocean, but I didn't realize how much I appreciated it and missed it until I came here and I asked, well, where's the beaches and stuff around here? And had to find out you got to drive 2, 3, 4 hours to get to it.
Yeah.
Whereas back at home, you can get there in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Water everywhere. But so it's just the little things in life that we undervalue, that we take for granted, and we do the same with people.
Yeah.
We do the same thing with people. If you're not offering or able to provide a certain thing for me, then you're worthless. You're meaningless. But a person within itself has value. You're worth something. Because at the end of the day, anybody that has breath has the breath of God dwelling within them. So that means a lot within itself. I don't care if you're a bum out on the street. You are worth something. You are somebody. You may have lost the focus on who you are, but you are somebody. You know, and in any day, any given time, anybody can take a loss or take a hit. God knows I experienced it up and down various times. And thank God that I'm on the process of going up, because I was down for a minute, and it hurt, especially because during the times you're down, that's when you get to realize who really is in your corner. You know what I'm saying? People really show where they really show what type of variety you have in their life. You know, and it's crazy because there's times where I would call people just to check up on them, just to hear their voice. Don't tell them what I'm dealing with or going through. But then I had to sit back and reflect and say, Dad, I don't get that same thing reciprocated.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So now when things start turning around, I don't call nobody. I don't want them to know what's going on with me, because then it's going to be about what they can get and what I can give them.
Yep. And we getting ready to end, but I'll tell you that, Keith, that was good. That was good. And we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that next week, about, that what she can get and what I can get and all that. That's but Lord, you just made me itch. I just started itching. So this is Men on Pause. I let Keith Wonderboy character the end, and let me tell you something. We're gonna talk about that next week. But listen, I want y'all to understand. We talk about this stuff. All we basically saying, look, just think about it. Just think about it, man. We're in these relationships, man. We men, and then you're in relationships with people. Just take some of this in and just think about it. Be like, and understand life is short and it ain't worth it, man. And if you're not careful, you just blow your whole life worrying about nothing. Nobody perfect. We do some crazy stuff. Sometimes we make decisions about stuff. Be in relationship with people, we shouldn't. So anyway, God bless you. Hot heaven smile upon you. Keep Wonderboy, Warren Carrington, and this is Bobby Concrete. And we'll be back next week, and we'll be talking about what can you do for me? Finding out.